Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene, in the dark, very dark, but Derek just decided to tell me that there's a light here in this little patio area. Still very noisy, but I have light. It's probably not the best light, but I don't care. This is where I want to be, outside, where it's nice and cool. I mentioned in a video on my main channel that I wanted to talk about highly sensitive people. It's something that I have, looked at a little bit and realized I'm all that. But I thought, this channel isn't all about narcissism. It's about growing up crazy. And that's a lot of different things that I can toss in there. So I'm going to do the little highly sensitive person test, so you can hear the questions, and I will tell you where you can go take the test yourself if you want to do it on your own. And we're just going to go through that, and then, it'll give everybody a little bit of understanding, and it's going to be very helpful to me because from everything that I've read, it helps the highly sensitive person greatly if they can understand what it is that they're dealing with within themselves. And so far, that really has helped me. It doesn't make me feel so crazy or so odd. It's just, oh, I have that trait. I'm highly sensitive. And surprisingly, it's not considered a disorder. Although you might hear some people call it a disorder. From everything I've read, it's not. It's just a trait. And something like 15 to 20% of people are highly sensitive, at least in one way or another. So let's just get into it. It's so loud, so incredibly loud. And yeah, you're gonna see the glow, and because I have to look at my iPad. So this is on highly sensitive person, the highly sensitive person site, but it's hsperson.com. I'd like to be able to do this without too much of a glow. And there's a test, it's something like 26 or 27 questions, and I'm just gonna answer them here on camera. And we'll see, how many. I pretty much almost all of them, but some to a lesser degree. There are other tests where you can do like from 1 to 5 or maybe 1 to 10, I can't remember, for each question, but I couldn't find a way to generate a total, and so I just went with this one. Okay, so first of all, highly sensitive doesn't mean you're just like I said on the other channel when I was talking about it a little bit, it's not just like like I have to have everything my way. It is kind of like having to find ways to do things your way so that life is not miserable for you, for the highly sensitive person. And I've already been doing that without even realizing that I've been doing that. And by turning off comments, that's a very good example. I'm highly sensitive in so many ways that if something is sad, I take it so deeply. I feel the pain. And that's one of the things. It's like feeling things deeper than other people feel. And I didn't know that. I thought everybody felt the way I did and they just knew how to handle it. But some people just don't feel things as strongly as highly sensitive people. So I feel so much better about that. All right, I'm easily overwhelmed by strong sensory input. Yes, I am very easily overwhelmed by many things, and strong sensory input would be one of them, but I'm easily overwhelmed by like just anything, and it'll talk about that more as we keep going. And for this test, you just have to tap it and then it'll calculate at the end. I seem to be aware of subtleties in my environment. Absolutely. I pick out all kinds of little things that other people would miss or would think, why would you even analyze to that extent or think that that could be something important? Check. Other people's moods affect me. Absolutely. If somebody's down, I can be down. If somebody's up, I can be up. Even absolute strangers, even on the internet. That's why I say that the comments, nobody really realizes, and I know that for sure now, just how much that affects me when I read other people's stuff, especially people who will share sad stories. It's like I take on the weight of all that stuff on top of all my stuff, and I just can't handle it at all. I just can't. And even if it's something funny or something else, it's so noisy to me. It's like, please, please, my brain, there's no space. There's no space for those typed words to enter. I'm filled. My brain is filled. I tend to be very sensitive to pain. Now, that is not quite true. I am very sensitive to the anticipation of pain. I worry so much about pain, even if I know that it's not going to be painful. Just like when I went for my second COVID shot. The first one, I hadn't had a shot in years, and I was just I cried. I mean, I just was so stressed over it. And I knew it didn't hurt, but I still was just as stressed when I went for the second one. It's the anticipation that I don't like. And I'm convinced that I remembered it wrong. I'm sure it was painful, and I'm just now trying to convince myself that it wasn't, so yeah, I can convince myself of a lot of things because I've been brought up to not trust anything that's in this brain space because I've always been told I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I find myself needing to withdraw during busy days into bed or into a darkened room or any place where I can have some privacy and relief from the stimulation. I absolutely want to withdraw, but I don't do it by going into my bed or a darkened room. I do it by going to my cutting table when I'm able to do that. And that's one reason that I'm so out of whack right now is I don't have my safe place. I can't even do my work, regular work, even if it's just recording a sewing video or like a quilt block. That's what I go into to forget about the rest of the world. I am particularly sensitive to the effects of caffeine. Not particularly, I don't think. 1 cup of coffee is enough for me. Well, maybe, I don't know. I maybe I'm a little bit sensitive to it because there are people who will say that they drink 4 or 5 cups of coffee a day, and I was like, how can you do that? If I have 2, I would be almost feeling like I'm just like that's too much. So maybe I'm a little bit sensitive. I'm easily overwhelmed by things like bright lights, strong smells, coarse fabrics, or sirens close by. The lights, the sunshine, you guys know how much I hate it. Absolutely hate it. It hurts my soul to have that bright light in the sky shining down on me. As for things like smells, the only reason I don't like certain smells is because of allergies, fabrics. I don't have that kind of sensitivity, and then sirens close by. I'm not against sirens. The only thing I don't like about noise is if they startle me. I hate that. I have a rich, complex inner life, and I do. And I looked that up. It's like my inner life is so complicated. I'm always analyzing, always thinking ahead, always looking in the past. It's a fucked up mess inside, and it's very stressful to be living like that. I am made uncomfortable by loud noises, again, if I'm startled. But loud noises, like for ASMR, there are some nights that I can't find anything loud enough because I want it to drown out all the other noises in my head. And I need loud noises, but a loud noise or even not a loud noise that startles me, I absolutely hate that feeling of being startled. I am deeply moved by the arts or music. Now, I'm going to just say deeply moved by the kind of arts that I like, which is like, crafts, visual things, fabric. Looking at fabric to me is like looking at art. I am deeply moved by stuff like that. I love it to the point where I think it's weird. And I know there are many people like that. And the reason I sell fabric is because it's like I have an addiction to buying it so I can see it and just be, so thrilled that I got to see that. And then I get to sell it so I can buy more and keep that going. And, the arts, again, of like crafts, like paper beads, it's like I'm so amazed by them. It seems unnatural. Yeah, so there's that. My nervous system sometimes feels so frazzled that I just have to go off by myself. Yes. Or in the old days, I just had to drink. Just drink all the time. I am conscientious. That's hard to say. And I am. And I'm always aware of everything that's going on. I startle easily. I can have like a piece of ice move in a glass, and it wants to send me through the roof, and I don't like being startled at all. I don't. And I left a friendship because she knew I didn't like to be startled, and she startled me by blowing the horn while I was right in front of my car. And I lost it at that point. I stuck around for quite a while after that, but I never could get past that. And when other things started happening, that I started realizing she wasn't looking out for my best interests, she didn't have my back on certain things, that was it. A friendship of like something like 36 years gone. I get rattled when I have a lot to do in a short amount of time. Yeah, I think we all do. But again, I don't think people's lives fall apart because of it. And you know how much this move was awful for me and still is. There are probably a lot of people who would have done everything that I did, go through everything that I went through, and not feel like they were completely gutted and that they can never recover from it. But that's the way I feel. When people are uncomfortable in a physical environment, I tend to know what needs to be done to make it more comfortable, like changing the lighting or the seating. I would feel like that, but I'd rather just leave and not have to be the person to take care of things anymore. That's the old me, especially if I was drinking, because I could say, oh, let's do this. I was always the one to fix things, to make everybody in the room happy or comfortable, and I just don't do that anymore. It's too much work. But definitely that's the personality that I had. I am annoyed when people try to get me to do too many things at once. I'm just annoyed if there's ever too many things at once. I had 6 phone calls to make today. I called all 6. Only 1 was resolved, and I have all those to make again or to wait for calls. That's just too much. That's too much for me, you know? I can't stand things like that. And, oops, is Derek coming out? Hang on a sec. I don't think so. I don't think it was him. I thought he was coming out to tell me something about my mother. I try hard to avoid making mistakes or forgetting things. Absolutely. I don't like to make mistakes. Again, I can be devastated, and I don't like to make mistakes. Well, I didn't when I was in school. To me, if I knew I was stumped on a question, I might as well just not even take the rest of the test, because if it couldn't be perfect, I didn't want any part of it. And I mean, I would finish and, you know, have an A minus. You know, I felt like a complete failure. Don't like to make mistakes and or forgetting things. I hate when I forget things, but I do forget things, and I just know that, you know, I'm going to forget things. I try to live with that. I make a point to avoid violent movies and TV shows. I don't generally avoid violent. I don't know. I'm not really drawn to violence, but it depends what the violence is. Some I can handle, some I can't. So I definitely avoid some of it. I become unpleasantly aroused when a lot is going on around me. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. It makes me want to just, you know, just put my head under a pillow and not be part of what's going on. Being very hungry creates a strong reaction in me, disrupting my concentration or mood. Now, I suffered with cravings for years and years, and I always just thought it's because I had no self-control. Or now that I'm a meat eater and I gave up a lot of shit, all the carbs and the veggies and all that, the cravings are gone. So I thought, okay, it's because of the way I was eating. The cravings were always there because I was always feeding the cravings, and it's just like a drug. It just makes you want more and more and more. But, you know, it used to disrupt my mood and concentration. That's why I had to give in to it. So that's interesting to me, that the highly sensitive person was putting, it was, you know, had something to do with that. Changes in my life shake me up. You guys know when I just have small changes, like, a change in my day because there's an appointment. I can lose my mind over that. I lose sleep for a whole week. And to think that I just changed my whole life this summer, no wonder I feel like shit. It's going to happen, and I feel like shit more than others. So it makes me feel comfortable thinking that maybe all the shit I feel about my furniture, maybe it won't be as bad as I feel it will be. It could be, because I'm logical, and there are other people who had very bad experiences with this moving company, but there's a chance that it could go at least okay. So I'm trying to hang on to that and just realize that the amount of pain and agony I'm in doesn't determine the outcome. Okay? So I'm learning stuff. I notice and enjoy delicate or fine scents, tastes, sounds, work of art. Not so much except for the work of art again, and it can be as simple as fabric. I find it unpleasant to have a lot going on at once. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm the person that if I have to make an appointment to have my car repaired, or I'm in a doctor's office and they say, oh, we'll make an appointment for a mammogram, and then all of a sudden it's for the next day. No, I need a week to just get over the fact that I had an appointment made. I will go, I will go in person to make an appointment for my car. At least when I, was in Sanford in Maine, and I knew my mechanic, I would drive by and stop in. Can I make an appointment for next week? I need a week to get over the fact that I just had to make an appointment. That's weird, but that's how I am. I make it a high priority to arrange my life to avoid upsetting or overwhelming situations. Yes, I guess that's what I just said. I go out of my way. I don't want to be upset or overwhelmed by the fact that I made an appointment today and now the appointment's tomorrow. No, that's too much shit going on. No, not happening. I am bothered by intense stimuli like loud noises or chaotic scenes. Again, if I'm startled, that's when it's an issue for me. When I must compete or be observed while performing a task, I become so nervous or shaky that I do much worse than I would otherwise. I don't think so. I think I'm good on that one. When I was a child, my parents, let's go back to like doing something like a live. I'm on video all the time, but if it's a live, I would be a hot mess. So maybe. When I was a child, my parents or teachers seemed to see me as sensitive or shy. I do remember that, but I wasn't, told that in a nice way. I was just always told that I was nuts. I was not well. I was not going to grow up to be normal. So that's it. So now I hit click to see score. And the total was 27. And if you have at least 14 of those, then you are considered highly sensitive. But even if you have less than that, you can still be considered highly sensitive, at least in those areas. So I don't know if this was interesting to you at all. It helped me a lot. It really did. I feel better over the fact that, again, as awful as I can feel about things, that doesn't determine the outcome. So I can just live in that misery and, just wait it out. And maybe it'll be better than I expected. I don't know. All right, you guys, again, it's hsperson.com, and, just look up highly sensitive person, and on YouTube, too. You'll learn all about it. I'm going to be very interested in watching videos now that I've done a lot of reading on it, just to see, how this, affects others, and, it's just going to give me some, it's going to validate how I feel about things like that, and I know it works into how I was raised, because it makes me just want to be in tune to everything and pick all these little things apart, because again, I was always told that, no, I never said that, or you don't know what you're talking about, and putting me on a pedestal and then knocking it out from under me. That's, how, I just, it really plays with you, and it's very destructive. Oh my God, Skylar, you scared the shit out of me. You come out with this hoodie. I was like, oh my God. All right, on that note, I'm going to say bye. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.